You cannot hire your way into accelerated growth. The runway you've been burning is not coming back. In today's episode, we'll expose why the default instinct to hire your way out of a revenue problem is one of the most expensive mistakes CEOs still make. You'll hear what evidence-based, risk-shared commercial execution actually looks like in practice, how a complex enterprise deal was won cold against five better-known competitors using a diagnostic POC, and you walk away with the interim process and the numbers to run before you sign off the next sales director's job spec. My next guest is the fractional sales director, a new business specialist with over 25 years scaling B2B tech and revenue across European markets. He has personally won complex enterprise IT and technology engagements totaling more than 80 million euros across the UK, Nordic, ECC, and Middle East. All of it cold, no warm introductions, no inherited relationships. Welcome, Scale Your Sales podcast, Jacek Dukat.
Hello, welcome.
It's really good to have you on here, and it's a subject that's been mulling around in my head for a long time. So it's great when we had this brief conversation. I thought, well, I've got to get you on the podcast and let's discuss it further. So, Jacek, you've built a career on what you call evidence-based opinion. So let's look at why traditional hire a sales director model may be broken. And for many CEOs listening right now that has that job spec on their desk, a recruiter on the phone, and 12 months of hope in the budget, what are they actually getting wrong about about their revenue and building their revenue and having a leadership team in place?
We live in this period of time of the constant pressure, and there is it's fast speed pace everywhere. So in my experience, most often leaders forget that the client is most important. They forget about the client. They think about sales, about systems, but they are supposed to forget about the most important element of this puzzle, about the clients. Because at the end of the day, the client is paying our invoices, our bill. And if we don't deliver value, if we don't solve the problem for this client, it just sales will not happen. This is something which we can be very busy, but we will not be very successful. And also, in my experience, there is a mistake done by leaders. They forget about to do groundwork, to prepare proper system and proper base. They jump directly into the activities. So it's like for the teams, the new salesperson is employed. There is a onboarding and then go and sell. In fact, I'm in sales for 30 years now, and this was the way of onboarding myself. My onboarding was like 3 hours. Then I was given territory and asked to go and sell. In our times, it will not work. It's just not possible because it's the buyers are more sophisticated. They are also very busy and under pressure, so they have no time and they have no motivation to guess what sales guy wants to bring to the table. So the first thing is the preparation of the proper system, proper model, and then to verify if this model is working properly or not. And as the third stage is to scale this model. And this is the stage where we can make decision to hire more people or to automate more things and so on and so forth. Because I
Okay.
see, yeah,
So
sorry.
can I delve into that a little bit more? Because so, a scaling organization, they think they have the right product, they
Yeah,
think they have the right revenue model, and they're hiring a sales director to, run with that model and go. So, and that's a typical scenario, isn't it? They're now thinking they're going to ramp it up. We're going to invest in a sales director. Where does that break down? Are we hiring the wrong person? Have we really tested, if the model is scalable? How do we know that it is scalable before we get to the stage where now we're recruiting, a larger sales force? Because often that they jump to that, as you say, but actually everything prior to that hasn't been tested. We don't have the right people, we don't have the right model. So, the CEO is about to scale.
yes.
Where, how do we know we're going wrong?
Usually we try to solve sales problems with HR and activities. So if we don't sell, we employ more people. We keep them under pressure to do more things, more activities, more emails, whatever. Now we have AI, so we are able and cold mailing system, so we are able to send 5,000 cold emails per week. It's not a problem. The problem is if we start from the wrong starting point, it just accelerates the whole problem. And so the first stage is to not to really invest into someone, I mean, sales director, for example, to have this very expensive person to experiment for 6 or 12 months, what works, what doesn't work, because usually it happens this way. Also to learn the company and learn the market and stuff like that. In my experience, the more efficient way, especially now, is to start with someone, even partner or the fractional sales director, who is task orientated and whose task is to build proper systems. So look at the ICP, the correct messaging to the ICP verticals, to build a proper outbound machine, and so on and so forth, and to validate this machine. It takes 3 months, 4 months. And then we have, if we are sure that we have a running system and it runs properly, because within this period of time, we should be able to verify results. Then there is a time to think about this person who can scale this. And this is the right time to employ sales director or vice president of sales, or this kind of person.
Right. Okay, I get it. So there's this interim and hence fractional, but it's interim as, rather, because fractional is often there, 50% of full time or so.
Yeah.
It's kind of more interim, isn't it? And it's
Yeah.
the person that goes in that tests whether the model or builds the model and makes sure it's robust enough to sell. That's the bit that's missing. Is that correct?
Yes, it is, because like in my role, when I'm coming to the company, my job is not only to, to design strategy, to build all these blocks and put them together, but also verify if this whole thing works properly as the salesperson. So for the certain period of time, I act as the salesperson. So I build my pipeline. I go with my outbound activities to the clients. I talk with them. I verify if the message is correct, if our product or solution the package is correct according to the client's needs and problems, and this is the way to build this thing, and then to, if there's the right moment, to pass this to the person who will then continue and move this forward.
I really like this idea, and it reminded me. I worked in for a customer experience consultancy, and we did lots of journeys for the customer to actually test. You had the tech team, the marketing, all of these people in large companies, and they thought they had the best product and they thought they had the best service. But it's actually only when you test it with a customer, and the customer always finds the most direct route that has probably not even been designed in to
Yeah.
whatever that, or
Yes.
they want a different user experience, and that's the difference between the success and failure. And it almost reminds me of that, really testing it out at every aspect that's going to either make this particular product or service succeed or fail. And I was speaking to interviewing a Jane Edgar Eden, and she was talking about the relationship of companies that are expanding into, say, the African market, and they're looking at it as a whole, whereas South Africa is completely different to Nigeria, is completely different to Kenya. And it could be just like a pricing strategy, a change of that will make it succeed or fail when you launch into a new market. And that's exactly what you would do. You would test it to make sure it is going to succeed. And it would seem that 3 months is a relatively short space of time. For success and failure, you imagine the huge investments that companies make, and it seems crazy that they're not doing that.
Yeah, there is this difference between my work as you put, interim sales director, and this regular sales director, because my agreement with the client is to based on outcomes, within the certain period of time. So we are very focused to get these outcomes, because this is the nature of this job. So I'm not paid for for the salary just to sit there and to be part of the company politics, for example. I'm paid to deliver certain results. So this is my action pace is much higher, because and my focus is really much higher. So this way I'm able to deliver results much faster, because on the other hand, my job is much simpler than this regular director, because again, I'm not involved in the activities which are not directly related to my job, like all these PR things and this kind of programs. And you mentioned very important thing, and this is very often I see the situation where sales director is so busy with all administration tasks, all these daily pressures. This person has no time to really talk with the clients, for example. So this is this kind of person who is managing from the spreadsheet. Go sell, because we have these figures in the spreadsheet, so it must be possible. And market then verifies this, because the clients are also, as you mentioned, they are not really interested to follow our way of selling, because they want to buy their way. So our job is to design the system which is in the same way that the clients buy. So this is another point. And the last thing is also what you mentioned. There are these cultural changes. If we operate on international markets, and I deal with the EMEA markets for the last 26 years now, there are this local not every market is the same. what works in the UK not necessarily will work in Germany, even within one global organization, because of the regulations, European Union regulations, for example, local regulations, local culture, the way that decisions are made. Usually, for example, in Nordics or DACH markets, so Germany, Austria, Switzerland, there are much higher number of stakeholders if we talk about the decision-making process, because people want to spread decision-making risk between large group of people. If something fails, it's more difficult than to put blame on one person. So all these factors can be verified and found out during the practical activities with the markets, with the clients, during the conversations, during the negotiations and communication with the market.
So I'm really interested. How did you discover your whole role? Because I wouldn't imagine it's typically known from a CEO that is scaling a company that they know they need this.
Yes.
So how did you discover it?
For last 20 years, I worked as the contractor. I was working for the several companies, but on the contractor basis. So I had contractor contracts or management contracts, not as the, let's say, employee. So this really prepared me for this way of operating, to base my activities on the KPIs, on the outcomes, not waste my time, just do things which work. And now because market completely changed in the last 2 years, where it's quite difficult to be a sales director. It's quite difficult to come to the company and be sales director and be really focused on your job, because you have so many duties, so many responsibilities. And selling is my passion, so this is something I do. On my background is in investment banking, so I went many years ago into sales and enjoy till today. So I made a decision that I want to do things which are very, very, very I'm passionate about. So selling, building sales systems, and help clients to grow sales, but also to be a bit independent with this independency, which I couldn't have as the regular sales director somewhere in the organization.
I love it because um, I love the fact that we are exposing that there is a need for this, especially as we're working in volatile and complex markets, and that's the way of the world. This is the new normal. But what has always been at the back of my mind is that I know the sales process is broken. You know, if you have the typical tenure of a sales director, 18 months, and the ramp up is 18 months. Well,
Yes,
it just doesn't add up. And it's very similar for sales reps as well. And we know that the sales cycle is getting longer. Um, and the cost of hiring, and you mentioned like 3 months was your onboarding. I mean, all of this is just crazy. None of it adds up. It is completely broken. And then we got, the sales stack, what's like tweaking everything around the corner, but we've still got the sales process. And then we have the sales process, which is mimicked across different sectors,
yes,
and different cultures. I mean, just none of it adds up. So I've always had in the back of my mind, this is broken. And
yes, it is.
I would love to completely start again rather than tweak around the edges. And one of
Yes,
the things that I was talking about many over 5 years ago was that the salespeople need to be more independent of the company and almost like freelancers in the company, and they have a certain expertise and they are the trusted advisor, or they might come with a client base that they know really well. And rather than you're attached to the company, you're that person in the middle that does the like puts the deals together because of the relationships. And there's got to be a better way of doing this. So what is your view around all of this? Is the system broken? Should we start again? And let me hear your thoughts, because
Yeah.
I've been struggling with it for a while.
Yes, system is broken because it seems to me like we go to our office and we forget about the rules of real life. Suddenly we are in the parallel world where the physics laws don't apply. So, as you mentioned, salespeople, they are overloaded with more and more administration tasks. They have less and less time to do their job, which is to go to the market, talk with the clients or prospects, and to sell. In year 2000, I remember it was. I remember I wrote some. I read somewhere that okay, there's more and more technologies coming, CRM systems, mobile phones, and stuff like that. So people will have more time. Now here we are in 2026, and it doesn't look like we are just overloaded with everything. And if you work for the organization, uh, there is a pressure on these short-term results. So most of the people they have no choice. They try to deliver something to look good. So that's why we have so many metrics. We don't really measure the metrics which are crucial for our success, like new business, new clients, wins. We started as the industry. I mean the sales industry. We started to put some other measures like okay, how many phone calls you made, and the people they try to make as many phone calls as possible to look good. They don't care about the efficiency, about the what is the result of these phone calls. They are asked to make as many meetings as possible. So they meet with the junior people on the other side, and on the which have no any decision power. They are just junior people, and but this is for the company is now the measure of success. All these metrics, and if we have every week we have a sales meeting, and there is a pressure to provide successes, some progress. So people will start behaving this way to invent some successes and progress just to look good and survive for another week. So this is the big problem. To build a proper, I'm afraid sales directors have no time to build a proper system. They are just put immediately into battle. Bring more business, sell, do more, faster, cheaper, and that's it. So then we do a lot of things, but we just don't solve the problem of that we are not efficient and not effective in what we do, and then conversion rate close to zero, is not really exception, is really standard at the moment. And if someone is coming, okay, our conversion rate is 1.5% or 2%, they look like heroes because, after sending 5,000 cold emails, they have 10 meetings. And that's the problem. My only measure I use for myself is to the quality related KPIs, let's say, or the so if I try to measure the time I spent with the clients, communicating with the clients, talking with the clients, because as someone said in the past, the money is in the meetings, in the conversations. This is the thing. So this is what I measure, and I measure the results of my activities. So I measure, how many clients I have, how many new clients I have, what is the sales volume, how many clients I helped. Because there is also a very important point. Now we go to the clients from this angle because of the company pressure. Sell, push something, just keep pushing, sell. My angle is different because I'm going from the position of the value. So first thing I try to figure out, especially for the enterprise clients, because if I have enterprise client, I'm not only thinking about the corporation as the organization, but also about these separate people who are part of the decision-making process. So I'm thinking about the value for each of this person. What is the problem they trying to solve? How can I help this person so the employment risk is lower because of our cooperation? And this is my angle. So later, everything is much simpler because even I call someone, I'm not stressed that I have to push and probably he will say no. No, we just have a conversation and I'm interested in this person. Sometimes I can't help and we say, okay, this is not the right moment. For whatever reason, and we say, okay, for now we stop. We'll stay in contact. We'll be in contact. We'll maybe start in the future where, we will be able to just to have this thing done properly.
Yeah, love it, love it. And for everyone listening on this call and enjoying the discussion, please leave a review on Apple Podcasts. It would really help others to find these great conversations. We talk to CEOs, revenue leaders, people, real conversations are in the field. We post twice a month and this is no fluff, as you can tell, in no theory. It's really the real conversation. So I would absolutely love it if you left a review saying that you enjoyed our conversation. So I'd like to, kind of continue in this line, but just take another angle. You've said that deals you've sold were cold across EMEA, which is really interesting, and all started with one Pacific reframe. Now, walk us through how you did that and why most sellers never make it.
I will not repeat about my passion to provide value for the clients, but in this case it's very important because if I go to the client's organization and I understand the business environment, I understand what is going on in this vertical where my client or prospect operates, what is going on, and I'm able to start from the business case angle, not really technology angle. I'm in the IT technology industry now, so I sell this solutions. But I always start with the client's operational KPIs and problems. And usually, I don't know any company where everything works perfectly. It's always something we can improve. So we start from this angle. For example, just case from 2024, interesting. In European Union, there are the regulations regarding ESG, so to reduce the carbon debt. So there are two regulations, one for the financial markets and one for the non-financial markets. And I started to talk with the board of the one of the top French banks, and suddenly, the head of the ESG department is based in London, in the London office, and this person is responsible for the global ESG initiative in this bank. And we had a very good conversation at the starting point, because I had experience in implementing ESG procedures in the IT systems. I represented the company which did this kind of implementations for the enterprises. And we spoke for some time just about the business. We didn't talk about the technology at all. We just discussed the business issues, about the business KPIs, the way they collect data from them from across the organization and stuff like that. Based on this, we build a case. We build like the what is now and what can be in point B if we implement what we are talking about. But it was still without the technology. And then, as the third element, came technology. It was the easy part. It was mostly like so. I believe my approach is to become good partner for business discussion for my clients, so they know that I understand their world, I understand the issues they face. I can be helpful to help them to optimize some business metrics. I can be helpful to give them some competition advantage, because it's also, I never say especially to the person I don't know, I speak the first time, I know how to help you, because the reaction can be, how you know that? Because we are talking for 5 minutes. You don't know our company. I work here for 20 years, and you are coming to advise me how to help me. But I can share my knowledge about the business environment, about direct competitors of this company. So this is my research work to do, or my experience, if I have experience, for example, in the financial industry in the UK or Germany or somewhere else. And this is a very, very good way to start, especially if we want to start early with the client, where we are not one of the 500 vendors trying to get the bid and fight for who is cheaper, faster, and so on and so forth, but to become the trusted partner for the project.
So I remember, give me an example of like the evidence-based diagnostic way that you've won deals in the past.
UK bank, UK financial institution, they run quite old IT system. It was the legacy system, and the whole thing started quite traditional way. So they started, they sent RFI, request for information, and I know I was one of the 5 competitors or possible vendors for this project. So because I was the smallest one, and I had to compete against much better known companies, and so I had to change the angle a little bit. So I proposed the client that we start with the paid POC, proof of concept, just to help them and also ourselves to understand this thing from the practical point of view. So they agreed. We did 3 weeks POC, where we had the evidence about the results which can be delivered if we implement our proposed system. And it will cost us, as far as I remember, around £25,000. So and then it was much easier for us to send our offer, to prepare our offer, because our offer was based on the real figures, clients' facts, and also clients' KPIs. So this was the one thing. The second, during this POC preparation period of time, we met with many people who influenced decision process. So they said, okay, these guys, they proved already that they know what it's all about, so why not them? And yeah, it finished with the, we won this deal, and the clients, the outcome for the client was over 1.2 million pounds of the savings within 1 year when we implemented this new system. It was also the risk with the some law regulations. So we lowered we changed the systems within this institution. So we lowered this risk on nearly to zero. Before that, it was around £500,000 of the regulations risk. So, and for us, we won £600,000 project this way. Yeah.
I mean, it's a really clever way of getting the unfair advantage. Can you imagine having gone through that kind of 3 weeks, which is not a long time in a tender process, but 3 weeks pay diagnostic or proof of concept. It's really almost impossible, unless it's a real disaster, to choose anyone else, because it is real figures. But it's interesting that they didn't give the figures to the other competing companies.
No one asked. No one
No
asked.
one asked. Ah,
Everyone was
incredible.
busy to prepare offers.
Yeah,
Not really to have dialogue with the proper dialogue, because of course if there is a tender process, you are able to just to ask questions, to have meetings, but you meet with the procurement, not really with the business unit. And
yeah,
we did work with the business unit.
yeah.
So it
And
was,
they say in a tender process that the relationships, the more relationships you have with the business and the stakeholders and decision makers, because as you know, and especially in Europe and other cultures, it could be 10, 20 people. We're not talking about just the 4 or the 1 or
yes,
2 that. So it really is an unfair advantage. They know you, they know the company, they trust you, and they really like the results of the proof. It is an unfair advantage, and it's very clever. Really love that tactic. So how can listeners get hold of you?
Yeah, I'm on LinkedIn, so I will spell my name because probably it will be too complicated to. My name is Jacek Dukat, so it's JACEKDUKAT. I have also my website, which is jacekdukat.com. So yeah, if you are interested to have good discussion or to start cooperation, please, you are welcome to contact me.
Jacek Dukat, there's so much that I've learnt. Literally, my mind is buzzing, and I'm sure that's the same for many of the listeners now. And people will be getting hold of you because I haven't had this conversation before, but there has been various questions in the back of my mind that you have answered after 5 years. I should have met you a long time before this, but I'm glad that I met you now. Thank you so much for sharing your experience, your insight. I've really enjoyed the conversation. So thank you for being a guest on Scale Your Sales podcast.
Yes, thank you, Janice. I really enjoyed this nice conversation with you. Thank you.
Thank you. If this conversation has given you food for thought, hit subscribe so the next one finds you. Twice a month, I bring on CEOs and operators genuinely moving the needle on revenue, not theory, not fluff. Drop your biggest takeaway in the comments below. I read everyone. Until next time, keep scaling your sales.